Okay, let me try and adjust the volume here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit interested in all these things that you've been saying. It sounds to me like you're a motivational speaker.
Yeah, my brother. Because I'm also a self-published author. I have a book called "Step Out of Your Comfort Zone and Start Living Your Dream." So I
Wow,
like
that's
inspiring
nice.
people. Even if you can check my videos here on TikTok, most of them, almost all of them, yeah, they are inspirational videos.
Okay. Wow, that's
Yeah,
that's that's very interesting, man. I think the relevance of your content speaks to the environment that we're living in. Um,
yeah,
and that's why I decided to join you on this live. I actually thought, actually, let me touch base
yeah,
with my brother here because um, you know spirits of a lot of people are down right now because of
true.
you know this mayhem that was caused by COVID-19. So words of
Yeah,
affirmation, words of encouragement are highly needed in this time.
yeah. They are needed because that's what I believe. Because we are all facing challenges, and people need to understand that they are not alone. Yabona,
Yeah,
even us, we're facing our own challenges, and you might look at someone and think life is good for that guy. I might be inspiring you. Whatever I'm saying to you might be words that I want to hear myself. So I
yeah,
choose to
yeah,
tell you those words so that I can be
yeah.
inspired as well. You see, now you just
Mm,
connected with me because of what I was saying. Now the
mm,
inspiration is coming back to me again, saying, keep it up.
wow.
Don't.
Yeah, yeah. And like there seems to be like some form of symbiosis to people who are taking a step forward. And I'm not just talking about this current scenario that we're painting out, but if you look at life in itself, if you look at the people who are pushing and who are actually succeeding in whatever their life's calling is, you'll see that there's an entourage around them that they're impacting positively. So it's sort of like a give and take scenario where the very energy that you give is what you indirectly receive. It might not be in the same way, but the energy you're giving to the next person is the energy you are receiving, which propels you
Yeah,
further as well. Mm. I see. I
there's
see that symbiosis happening.
yeah, and and what you're saying is something that I believe in because one thing I know is that if you want to receive in your life, you have to give that which you want to receive. If you want
Yeah,
love, you have to love people. If you want
yeah,
respect, you have to give people respect. So how can you
mm,
expect something in your life that you are not willingly and freely giving away to people? You see.
wow,
So like
wow,
me, if I want, like for an example, if I want inspiration or if I want motivation, what must I do?
mm,
I have to motivate others. That's how I
mm,
get my motivation, by motivating
yeah,
you and inspiring you to be
yeah,
the best that you can be. Because if I can tell you my
yeah.
story now, uh, back in 2009, I was disowned by my
So,
father.
sorry to interrupt you there for a second while you're telling me, but can you just quickly grab my laptop quickly? I just wanna be busy typing a few things as I've been talking to you right now,
Yeah,
if you don't
yeah,
mind.
please do that. I don't mind. Go.
All right, cool.
Yes. So my story is back in 2009. I was disowned by my father because I felt that he was never there for us, and he was never there for us, really. So I grew up with a lot of anger and resentment towards him. So he came and he asked for us from my mom, and he said he wants to stay with us here in Joburg. When we got here, he started changing women, a lot of women. That's what we were fighting for, because as I saw that he was not being a good role model towards me. So one day, my anger, as you can see, if you keep on pumping a balloon, you pump the balloon, you
Mm.
pump the balloon, what does it do at the end? It explodes.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So that anger that I had towards my father was like that balloon. And then it
mm,
exploded one day, and then I told him how I expressed to him what I felt about him, and he didn't take take it well, and he ended up disowning me, saying I'm not his son. must leave his place. And you know how black people are. When you talk back to your parents, they say it's a sign of disrespect.
Yeah.
So my father took it as a sign of disrespect, and he disowned me. And then I was in a leadership program back then, 2009. And then when I left my father's place, I left with only my bag, with a bag full of clothes, and
Wow.
went into an empty room with my
Mm,
heart full of hope, not knowing how I was gonna make it.
mm,
So as I started working and working, I started realizing that a lot of people are doing jobs that they hate, and they are so focused on putting bread on the table that they overlook their dreams.
wow.
And and you can see that now as we face this COVID-19 pandemic, which a lot of people now are beginning to realize that a job is not permanent. You might be signing a permanent contract, but the owner of the company can decide to retrench you anytime and any day. And then after
Mm,
you get retrenched or fired from your job, what's the next plan? So
mm,
people are too comfortable, and they need to be shaken up. So that's why I ended up writing this book, and called it Step Out of Your Comfort Zone and Start Living Your Dream. And that book came about because I experienced that thing when my father disowned me.
mm,
So it turned into a book, but it started as a speech because I was a member
yeah.
of Toastmasters International. I was doing public
Mm,
speaking at Toastmasters International. So it was a speech that I titled Kicked Out of My Comfort Zone. And then it ended
wow.
up being a book. So so people need to understand that they need to have a plan B and plan
Yeah.
C if possible. Because now you
Mm,
can see a lot of people now, they lost jobs, they don't know what to do, they don't have any skills, they don't know how
mm,
to earn money. But the
mm,
truth is, you can learn any skill you lack. You just have to understand that everything you want in your life is outside of your place of comfort. And that is my
mm,
belief. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And a lot of people might see you inspiring them and think, hey, this guy is eating a lot of money. I'm not rich. I'm not
yeah.
rich, but I'm
Yeah.
living my dream.
Yeah.
But I'm living my dream. That's the most
Yeah.
important thing.
Yeah. I find that in this beautiful journey of life, um, sometimes we look at the end result being riches, um, but it's not really about that. It's not really about the end result, but it's about the process. And
Yes.
there's so much that we reap out of the process rather than the end result. I was trying to log on to my my account and comment. Sorry to divert there, but I see that I've
Yeah.
logged into your account somehow. I wanted to communicate with some of the people who are on my live right now. But what I find interesting is that we tend to be so focused on the end result of on getting rich and having influence and all of that. But the real meat of this life story is about the journey, it's about the day to day, it's about overcoming some of
True.
those things that you're talking about. And it's interesting because I see that our stories are a bit parallel because I also went through a bit of a situation with my parent. But at the end of the day, like we eventually reconciled and we're
Yeah.
on good terms right now. Um, uh, but what I got out of that interaction has built me to become the man that I am today. And but
Yeah.
the one thing that came to mind as you were talking is that you didn't allow your situation or your circumstance to define who you are. You decided to take a stand
True.
and become the man that you want to become despite the situations. And that's one of the things that I see consistent with people who succeed in life. They have this ability to go beyond their situation and derive strength from somewhere that gives them ability to propel forward. Uh,
Yeah.
and I see that in your story as you're talking. I mean, in any environment, when I see a person speaking positive in the time that we are in, speaking absolute life, I give ear to that person because then there's some resilience in them because the system that we are functioning right now is built a bit different to what we want as human beings. So we have to dig deep.
True.
We have to look for inspiration elsewhere to go beyond the trials and the tribulations that we face on a daily basis. So someone who has the strength to not only go beyond their circumstance, but give courage and an encouragement to the next person, that person is made of a different fabric, if I may say that, you know.
Yeah.
So big ups, my brother, to what you're doing, and I hope and pray that you know you find the right help in your
Thank you.
journey that will propel you to environments that will make your message more relevant in bigger spheres. You know,
Yes.
because you have a message that is needed by our generation, our time, and the next generation, and the next period, the next time. You know, because I mean, how this world has transitioned. Like, I don't know if you are aware that there is a transitioning happening right now from what was in 2019 to what is in 2021. You know,
Yes.
the entire value, like the life in itself, is a bit different. You know, um,
Yes.
2019, you wouldn't think twice about hugging a person, kissing someone on the mouth without, you know, you wouldn't think twice about that. You know, right now there's all
Yeah.
manner of things that you think about when you meet a stranger. It was easy in 2019, for example, to just hug a stranger, give them a kiss on the lips. You know,
Yeah.
right now you think about proximity. You know, you're thinking
I
about
gotta be
proximity.
careful now.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
with this different dispensation coming or already here, um, we need positive influencers in our space to speak life to the environment. You know, um,
Yeah.
to remind us that it's not all doom and gloom. You know, we still have life in front of us. We're still
Yeah.
hopeful of the future. You know, we're still influencers in our own unique way, and our life's purpose is still calling us. You know,
True.
because each person has a purpose in this world. I believe that. I believe each person has a purpose in this world, and we all have to rise to the occasion of becoming whom we are called to be. But if I
True.
may ask you, where do you derive your strength? Where do you draw that positive energy?
Because one thing I've learned is that so there's something I want to talk about because most people ignore this.
Okay.
Let's say you want to be successful in a certain area of your life.
Mm,
So to get motivation and inspiration for yourself so that you don't give up on whatever dream you're pursuing, you need to find someone who is doing what you want to do and make sure that you find someone who is doing it successfully. You
yeah.
see, so and that is
Mm,
mentorship. So I have a mentor. Every now and then when I feel down, I just spend some time with my mentor because he's up there. He's there because he has authored 4 books already. If I hadn't met
mm,
my mentor back in 2015, I wouldn't have written and published my own book because I self-published my own book and spent my own money. I didn't have a publisher, so I am my own publisher. So most of the time, I spend
wow.
most of the time reading. I spend most of the time
Mm,
reading, learning, and I don't just read anything or watch anything on YouTube. I read and watch personal development stuff. Personal development is big, and people need to understand that in order for them to grow, you need to
mm,
develop yourself. You can work hard on your job. Yes, people have jobs.
mm,
I used to have a job too until because I resigned 2016 to pursue my dream. A lot of
okay.
people have jobs, but most people spend their time working so hard on their jobs that they forget to work on themselves.
Mm,
You need to work
wow.
on yourself more than you work on your job because that job is making someone more successful than it makes
Yeah.
you. You are
You're building someone.
helping someone, yeah, you are helping someone fulfill their own dreams. What about your
Yeah.
dream?
Mm,
So omunye umuntu will say to you, hey, I grew up in this environment and this environment, this and that. Those are just excuses. And that's what I want to say to anyone who's listening now. Maybe they're thinking the same thing. I don't
mm,
know who is watching and listening. Maybe this might speak to someone here now. Your
mm,
environment, I want you to remember this all the time. Your environment is not who you are. Your environment is where you are.
yeah.
It is just your current location. It doesn't determine your destiny. It doesn't determine whether you succeed or fail in life. There are so many people who have achieved a lot of things in their lives who grew up in worse environments than yours.
Mm,
All you have to do is work on yourself. I want to put more emphasis on this. Work on yourself and make sure that you spend time with people who help lift you up than drag you down to their level. Because the purpose of a friend in your life is to take you from where you are to where they are. So if you want a friend or want to spend time with someone, just look at where they are, and then you will know where your life is going. Because your
mm.
friends influence you, they influence how you think. Whoever you spend most of your time with will influence you and influence where you end up in your life. That's all. And you need to understand that you need to step out of your comfort zone, because your comfort zone could be the death of you. People literally die. There are dead men walking out here now who don't know what to do with their lives. So that's why
Mm.
people need to hear something. That's why I keep sharing these positive messages, because you need someone in your life who will see in you what you can't see. You
Wow.
cannot succeed alone. You need a team for your dream. I don't know who your team is, whether it's your wife or your children or your family or your friends. You need a team for your dream.
Mm. That's wonderful stuff, man. That's amazing stuff that you're
Yes.
saying right now. I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling motivated as you speak.
Yeah.
Um, and you touched a bit. You sound like an entrepreneur. Like how you talk. You know that Vusi Tembekwayo, is it Vusi Tembekwayo?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I know
yeah,
him.
I mean, he echoes the same sentiments. He talks about what entrepreneurship is, as opposed to being self-employed. He talks about the
Yeah.
mentality of an entrepreneur, and some of the things that you've highlighted right now are just classic examples of what an innovator is. A person who's able to break ground where no one saw potential. And a person who's able to
Yeah.
self-define, who does not necessarily wait for influences from other people to find ground on who they are as individuals. Absolutely loved everything you said, my brother. I absolutely loved it. I don't know. I forgot to take your name. I see your surname there,
Yeah.
but I don't know your name.
Yeah. Okay. My name is Togozi Sinkosi.
I'm Tozis. Okay,
Yeah,
wonderful.
Sinkosi.
So you went through.
And right now, the book I was talking about, if you can maybe after this co-hosting, you can check my bio. On my bio, there's a link, because
Okay.
I'm currently pushing the audio book because I don't have physical copies. So I feel like people need to start learning new ways so that they can grow and learn. Because these days, as you can see with COVID-19, everything is moving towards digital and the technology and everything that they are introducing. And especially here in South Africa, we need to familiarize ourselves with this technology. This technology right here, you see, we are able to connect now because of the technology, and that is where the world is moving. That's why when the first lockdown started last year, you know what I did? I started writing and working on an audio program that is supposed to help and inspire people. It is called Reinvent Yourself and Live Your Dream.
Wow.
You see, yeah, so
Hmm.
it's also available from Apple, iTunes, Amazon, everywhere online on all digital stores. And I did it from home. I
Hmm.
didn't go out and hire someone else to do it for me. I did it from home. And because I believe that's where everything is going. And that audio program will help people, because it's time to reinvent yourself right now. The old way of doing things is gone. It's gone.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I'm thinking immediately about two people that I've observed from a distance who've adapted into this new way of doing things. I don't know if you know
Yes.
the singer Tori Kelly. Tori Kelly.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
I think she was rejected by the Voice or Idols or something like that. She's
Yeah.
a singer, and this lady didn't wallow in those rejections. She knew that she had talent, and she decided to do cover songs, and put them
Yeah.
on YouTube. And after some time, I mean, she got traction from people. People started responding to her message, and hey, eventually, record labels went to her, wanted to sign her, and right now she's a recording artist who's very famous in the world. So I like the fact that you've touched on what the world is going to be, or in fact, what the world is already is. The
Yes.
fact that we are not waiting for industry now to be who we want to be. We're not waiting for the big companies to become, because the environment is conducive enough for people to self-innovate. What you're doing right now about motivating people and getting word out there about what you can give people is an example, is a classic example of what it means to function effectively in the current space.
Yes.
Um, um, I mean, right now we have a Kaby Lane. I don't know, a Kaby Lane, who is a gentleman who's just reacting to normal folk that people do, and put a normal twist to it. And that guy has, I think, about 40 million fans on TikTok.
Mm.
Just as an example. I mean, these are industries that were traditionally very far from us, and I enjoy the fact that I'm talking to my peer here in terms of age. Growing up,
Yes.
we didn't have this reach, this appeal, whereas right now the level of the playing field is so conducive for innovators to enter the space that there is definitely no excuse for for
Yes.
for anyone who has an idea, anyone who has drive, who has ambition to do something in this world, to do something about it. Um, um, the financial space is also the same as this communication space. This networking space. I'll talk
Yes.
specifically about cryptocurrency and the moving away from the traditional financial systems. I mean, you look at innovations like Bitcoin, you look at innovations like XRP, you look at innovations like Hedera Hashcraft. There's so much out there that is giving. I mean, I don't know if you know Ethereum and the Ethereum blockchain. It was created by a 17-year-old, you know, who
Yes.
decided to move financial systems from like a traditional way of doing finances to a decentralized way of dealing with finances. So as we speak, I believe, according to my research, right, I believe that your standard way of doing business right now, in terms of going to the bank and looking for a loan and whatever, and once you have a proper functioning business, taking money to the bank, that old system is gone.
It's gone. It's
Um,
gone.
it's gone, bruh. Like attaching value to your money right now will not be like the traditional way of doing it, like from in a property, in a physical property, as an example, or going to the bank and saving your money in the bank. Those systems are gone. Right now you have
True.
NFTs which accumulate value in an incredible speed. You have cryptocurrencies, which are giving us a platform to increase our net worths to incredible levels. And so industry is becoming decentralized. Every form of market that we can think of is becoming decentralized, and it's empowering the normal folk. It's empowering me and you to be able
True.
to function in the space, which is absolutely wonderful. I mean, you see it in every industry. You see it in music, you see it in finance, you see it in agriculture, whatever it is.
Even in
It's giving
even in
power to the
education.
people.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So what you said right now is absolutely powerful, man. That this environment is giving us wonderful opportunities, and it's
Yes.
upon us to grab them and make something of them, eh? But I
Yeah.
want
And
to I
people
want
need,
to I
need,
want
need
to
to
ask you a
understand.
question.
Mm.
Yeah, okay.
And the people need to understand which they need to start waking up to these things and start learning. Learning is not hard. You can learn any skill you lack, and the information
Yeah.
is out there. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. But I guess it's understandable that we come from an environment where I know you said that we are not our past and everything, but we need to acknowledge
Yes.
sometimes the some of the implications the past has had in our culture, in the institutional mindset of people, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, it takes initiatives like what you're doing right now to break those traditional norms that are not beneficial for the individual and the community at large, you know.
Yeah.
But I sort of like understand that sometimes, especially for us South Africans, sometimes it takes us time to adapt to new ideas, to new ways of doing things, mainly because of what has happened in the past and how our mindset has always been, you know. But
Yeah.
like you said, this environment is giving us a wonderful opportunity. In fact, I think from 1994, we've had absolutely wonderful opportunities to break out of first the mental prison that was brought by the old system, and then eventually every other system that we participate in, you know. But I think the main thing
Yeah.
was just to break off that culture of limitation and
Yes.
lack and just stagnation, you know. But I think we've come a long way since, you know. I mean, I'm looking at influencers right now, and they're absolutely
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
mountains. It's wonderful.
Yeah. We've come a long way, like to add to what you just said, it's yeah. The past does influence the future at some point, but people, I think it's all about habits, looking at your habits, what you've been doing in the past, and what has been working for you and what has not been working for you. And breaking old habits, is not easy. I acknowledge that very well. Breaking
Yeah,
old habits, it's not easy. It takes time. It takes time. You have to repeat a new habit until it is ingrained in you. So without that repetition, you cannot
yes,
break
yes,
an old habit. So you need to break our old way of thinking, so that we can start adopting new ways. And most of the time, I want to say to people is that what you do today. Then let's forget about the past. Let's leave the past behind where it is, and let's forget about the future, because the only thing that would change your life is what you decide to do today, this very moment. What you
yeah,
decide to do right now will change what will happen in your life tomorrow. You must do something
mm,
today, no matter how small it is. It doesn't have to be something big. Just a small
mm,
step
mm,
will help create the future. If you don't do
yeah,
anything today, the problem is that most people are sitting and making excuses and not doing
mm,
anything because they think they have to do something big and go all out. Just one thing, even if it means making that phone call to that person and asking them to assist you in whatever you are struggling with, even if it means sending that one email to that person who might give you a job, or that person who might help you gain a certain skill that you lack. Those small things, they count, they matter. Hence I said everything you want is outside of your comfort zone.
wow, wow,
Yes.
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I mean, it's those small battles that we have to win before we win those bigger battles, eh?
Yeah.
Uh,
So you
yeah,
cannot win
and you
anything
know,
big if you
yeah, definitely, definitely. Some battles is just getting out of bed, you know. For
yeah.
someone who's suffering from depression, for example, just getting out of bed is just the first battle that they have to win. And after that, it's like the next hurdle, you know, doing dishes, you know, or maybe making the bed, or maybe stepping outside and taking a walk. And then eventually, you know, that person is an innovator in the space, you know. So it's absolutely amazing when you say do something first. I mean,
Yes.
we have a much, you know, who are consistently waking up in the morning and set up a market lap and selling stuff. They are the same
Yeah.
as the big
That's the same
conglomerate
thing.
that is setting up their next business venture somewhere out there. So in fact, you know, I learned that the economy of a country is built by those movers and shakers. Everyone who's participating in the value in the economy, you know, even that small one rand contributes to
Contributes.
when it moves, when you do something with it, it starts contributing to the overall wealth of the company of the world. I mean, sorry, of the country.
Of the economy.
I'm getting a bit sidetracked now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's wonderful. But I wanted to ask you a question earlier on. You know,
Yes.
since you're such a thinker, What's your view on spirituality? I wanted to touch on that mainly because um, I'm looking at your way of thinking, and I just wanted to touch base with that. I mean, we could talk about the successes of the individual, and the current world and whatever. But when the question is tied to a person's destiny. I don't know if I'm explaining this well. That your destiny is not only defined by what you do here and now. Because maybe let me first say this: that you do what you do because you want to touch lives of people, right? So you have a deep
Yeah,
desire and a care for the well-being of people, right? So that
true.
that stems from somewhere. That stems from somewhere. That care that you have for people comes from somewhere. So that's what I wanted to touch on, as I was asking you
Okay.
this, about the spiritual aspect of it.
Okay, so this is something because I believe that there is a God out there who is orchestrating everything la emhlabeni. So I believe in God, and my life is inspired a lot by reading the Bible and reading those stories in the Bible and learning from them, taking what I take from them and applying it into my life. So as a person, I believe that you cannot just sit there and say you don't believe in anything. Everybody believes in something,
Yeah.
but the only thing you need to make sure is that what you believe in must be something that is good for you. Because if it is not good for you, if it doesn't bring you good things, and if it doesn't bring you blessings in your life, then what's the use of believing in that thing? I believe that my life is where it is. I am who I am today because of what God has done in my life. So everything that has happened in my life happened for a reason. It had to happen for me to be the person that I am. My father had to disown me for me to
Mm,
be this person that I am. It's like that story is, I think it's Abraham or Abraham in the Bible,
mm,
where God said to him, "Get out of your place of birth and go into a city that I will show you and
yeah.
start a new life there." So I look at my story and I compare it to that story because I walked out of my father's house where I was comfortable, everything was done for me, I had food on the table every day, and I went into the unknown, not
Into the
knowing what will
wilderness.
happen to me.
Mm.
Yeah, not knowing what will happen to me. People thinking,
Wow.
it's just crazy. He's gonna come back. And
Mm.
I didn't. I walked into an empty room. That room was literally empty. The only thing I
Wow.
had was my bag. And I
Mm.
was on a leadership program. On that leadership program, I was getting paid, I think 1.8, 1.7 per month.
Mm.
So I had to travel by train. So I used up all of that money. I bought a bed in the streets. You see these beds that they make on the sides of street in the streets. I don't know if you've been here to Joburg and seen people making beds on the streets and selling them. So
Wow.
I bought a bed that cost 400 rand, a double bed that was handmade. I put it in that room, and I bought a kettle and I bought an iron. I started from scratch, and then during that month I was left with 100 rands. And that
Mm.
100 rands, mind you, I hadn't bought any food.
Mm.
That 100 rands I was supposed to buy a monthly train ticket. Back then, a monthly train ticket at Tembisa was 99 rand or something. So I bought that train ticket and I was left with 1 rand.
Mm.
So now I'm sitting alone in this room, in this empty room. Okay, you have everything, you have some of the things you need to survive, but you
Yeah.
still have no food. Where is the food gonna
Mm.
come from? So I
Mm.
remember sitting and thinking, okay, hey, I called I called a lot of friends. That's when I started realizing what people will turn on you. People who you think are your friends, once you get into trouble, they will turn on you. Hence, I
Mm.
say be careful who you spend your time with and be careful who you invest your time in because people
Mm.
will turn on you. And then I even called my sister, my own sister. She just lied and said, I'm gonna send you money now. I'm sending you money now. I went to an ATM waiting for her to send money. And then I went back home. I called her, Manje, where's the money? She said, the queue was long, blah, 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 all those excuses. Then I said, okay,
Yeah.
it's cool. So I thought and thought, and I said, okay, I still have friends here in Tembisa. That's why I say you have to believe in something, because every thought that you have doesn't come to you in jail. Sometimes
Yeah.
God listens to what you're complaining about, and He
Mm.
will only show up when you are in trouble. He won't show up
Mm.
when times are good. He will show up when you are in trouble and think, hey, I'm done here. Maybe I should go back home. And then
Mm.
this voice said to me, To, just get out, walk around and visit a friend or someone. I want.
Yeah.
Then I
Mm.
listened to that voice and I started walking around the Tembisa. Then I ended up at a friend's place, only to find that friend ended up giving me 400 bucks. So I ended up having 400 rand that day. Then I bought food and then everything was fine. So I started from
Wow.
scratch. I stayed like the entire year not talking to my
Mm.
father. We would pass
Mm.
each other on the streets. He would be driving his car. I would pass him like this, and we would
Mm.
not talk. But until that one day, I decided, no, man, if I don't forgive this person, I'm
Yeah.
actually destroying myself. I'm destroying my own life. It's eating me up, because at the end of the
Mm.
day, he's my father. I'm his son. And when you look at
Mm.
me, if I can show you my father's picture, my father passed away 2015. And thank God ukuthi he passed away sezwana sesixoxa singasaxabananga.
General.
Yabona?
Mm.
So I went to him because my father had a soccer team at Tembis. I found him at the ground watching soccer with his friends. I had just been
Mm.
hired. I had just signed a permanent contract and had my first pay from that permanent job. I think I started
Yeah.
at the leadership program. So I
Yeah.
was working hard, sometimes working hard, hungry with no food, no lunch. I would not, sometimes I wouldn't go to lunch. I would just sit there and work the whole day and do my assignments and submit and work until that one day I decided to go to my manager. That's how
Mm.
I got hired permanently. And I realized that sometimes you need to stand up for your life and stand up for yourself. And I went to her and said, I don't know where I got that courage, because I had finished my
Mm.
learnership. I had three assignments left, and I knew I was going to be
Wow.
found competent on that. And then I went to her and
Yeah.
said, I'm almost done with my learnership now, and the contract has expired. So I don't know what's happening. What's your plan about
Mm.
me in your department? I just asked her that, what's your plan about me?
You took initiative there.
Yeah, because she saw that I was working hard. I came to work early every day. I came to
Yeah.
work at 7 every day, and then everybody came at
Mm.
8:30 when we were supposed to start at 8:30. And every time when I came to
Yeah.
work, my manager found me at the door waiting for her to open the office. So when I
Mm.
went there, I knew that she must have a plan for me. She can't let me go, because she sees what I'm working. I'm the hardest working person here. So she
Yeah.
said to me, okay, wait a minute. And then I went into her office, and she called HR and said, can you please set up a contract for Mthokozis? Same time. Had I
Wow.
not had I not done that, I wouldn't have
Mm.
had that permanent position at that job. And I write about this in my book as well. So I
Mm.
realized that sometimes you need to take initiative, and you need
Yeah.
to believe in
Mm.
something. And I believed ukuthi God will make it happen for me one day. So, Mina, as far as my spirituality goes, I believe that there is a God out there, and my God is looking after me. Whatever I
Yeah.
do is guided. Even the thoughts I think, they don't just come to me, but for that to happen, I must be, I must act on my dreams. I must act, because you've heard these people say, "uNkulunkulu usiza abayisizayo." So uNkulunkulu usiza abayisizayo. God helps those who helps themselves. How do you help
Mm.
yourself? By taking action. Because when I believe that you need to be first, you need to believe that you can, and then you
Yeah.
act on that belief. Once you act on that belief, you will achieve anything you set your mind to. But you gotta
Mm.
take action.